Hello and welcome to today's session. I am super thrilled because I get to be the one hosting Granny Ronna's show. Today, I'm joined by, of course, our host, Granny Ronna, who's actually going to walk us through a little bit of her history. This is something that I'm really thrilled about. I've been looking forward to having this opportunity to talk to Ronna. If this is like the first time you interact with us, I'm Jeanette. On the screen with me is Granny Ronna, and we have this show that we started for Ronna because she has something to share with the world, with all her children, myself included. And
Yes.
she also wants to break the barriers and debunk some of the myths that we have around different generations. So I do this for my children, I do this for myself, but more importantly, I do it so that Ronna can have this platform where she can share some of her wisdom with us. So, Ronna, are you ready?
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yes, I am ready, ready, ready.
Good. So today we're going to talk about you. I have wanted to ask you a series of questions since we first met, and you told me how old you are, and I kind of started doing the math in my head, and I was like, wait a minute. Your mom was like there and an adult and alive during some very difficult times in the world, but especially in the US. But her mom was totally alive, like during the Second World War. And I was like, so everything I've read in history books, everything I've seen on Crash Course, shout out to Crash Course because they're fantastic with their world history. I can finally talk to someone who has received firsthand information of how it was like to actually be alive at that time and go through some of the very devastating stuff that we've put ourselves through as humans. So, are you ready to give me an unabridged version of your life, your experiences, the way your mom influenced you, the way your grandmother influenced you? It's going to be a wild ride. I hope everyone is going to hang out with us.
Yes, I am so ready. I'm so ready.
Okay, I want to start at the beginning. No, not really. I want to start at the middle.
Okay.
Tell me this. What was it like, if you ever heard these stories, what was it like for your grandmother to go through the Second World War?
Let's go back a little bit. My grandparents immigrated to this country. Actually,
From
everybody.
where? Didn't everyone?
Everybody
That's what I
immigrated to
always
this
say.
company, including indigenous peoples who walked across the land bridge. Like nobody was here.
No.
They came from Eastern Europe, and it was a terrible time, and they decided they would just get out of town. And so they came by boat, and they were in a displaced persons camp in Paris for a long time. My grandmother must have been in early stages of pregnancy with my mother, and my grandfather, who was a very, very handsome guy, encountered French women. Ooh la la.
Ooh la la. Okay.
So not so good for my grandmother. And eventually she and her 3 children and my grandfather ended up in St. Joseph, Missouri, which was in the middle of nowhere. And people know it in the United States because it used to be the last place you stopped before people moved west. So it was kind of like an old Western town. I can remember there were still dirt streets when I was born. So,
wow.
Yeah, so that was them. My mom was born in America, grew up during the Great Depression, which was like, we're worried about the economy, but my grandmother knew, I think, infinite ways to make a potato into dinner.
I love it. The scrappiness. This is what I live for. I want to hear all the scrappy stories.
Yeah, so it was like, we're gonna have potatoes this way, we're gonna have potatoes that way.
Potatoes 10 ways.
Potatoes 10 ways. And then my parents got married during World War II, which was also difficult. And there was a lot of personal bad stuff going on. She couldn't maintain a pregnancy after my brother. I have a couple of brothers who didn't make it past a few days. Her pregnancy with me was just a horror show. She had to be on bed rest, and they gave her a lot of meds, which eventually gave me cancer, but that's another story. So sometimes now, one value I see in telling my story at 72 is I know my people have been through much tougher than this. And for everyone watching this, I live in the South now. I live in Durham, and I've learned how to say all y'all have blood running in your veins that came from people who made it through much tougher times than we're dealing with. And so it's like, okay, I am made of, equal parts crazy and tough. And if I can lean on the tough and work through the crazy, it's going to be okay. And that's what I want to share is that for young women, it seems so scary, and you can do it.